All right, welcome to this session. My name is Barbara Bochalia, and I'm going to be taking you through chapter 2. Let us look at chapter 2, and this is about job design and job analysis. Job design and job analysis. So let us look at key terms in this chapter. We have a task. A task basically refers to the activities with the distinct characteristics. And these activities are specified under a particular job. So a task is basically an activity that is that is in a set, that a job has tasks. So a task is basically an activity. Then a job basically is a combination of different tasks. So a job has different tasks to be done, and a combination of those tasks makes up a job. Then a position is basically a level in an organization. For example, if we say that someone is a manager, someone is an accountant, someone is that is a position, right? So that is position is a level in an organization, and it basically determines the person's duties and the degree of responsibilities towards that organization. Probably we've been taking these terms synonymously, but this is the right time for us to be able to distinguish between these terms. Then an occupation is basically a combined form of similar job. For example, when we say an accountant, a teacher, that is an occupation, right? So let us look at job design. And basically job design, to be precise, it involves identifying the content requirement in a particular job, and how it will be carried out. Basically, it identifies the content requirements for the job and how how it will be carried out, right? So with the job design, basically, we are looking at what is entailed in this job, what content is entailed in this job. We look at what would be the method of doing this job, and then also we look at how will this job be made, what are the content requirements, how will this job be carried out, right? So basically that is job design. So what are the benefits of job design? Number one is that it helps in determination of organizational structure. It helps in the determination of organization structure. Of course, organization structure here, we see that an organization has a hierarchy of different positions, of course, from the highest to the lowest. And here, of course, each person, every at each level or at each position, every person will be required. They are required to do their content requirements for that position and how they are supposed to be done. So at the end of the day, this improves the organizational structure. And then job design helps to motivate. It helps to motivate staff. How does it help to motivate staff? Of course, here, if they know what is entailed their work, in their job, and how they are going to do this work, then it will motivate them to do their work in a better way. Then job design also helps to uplift knowledge, what we call knowledge upliftment, what we call knowledge upliftment, in a way that an employee knows about, has enough information or enough knowledge about their position, about their job, and what is entailed in their job design. Then job design also helps organizations to get the best people that fit, the best employees that fit for that particular kind of job, what we actually call person job fit. So it helps the organization to get the right match, for the job. And then also it helps to bring about better quality of the work life, in a way that these workers, given the fact that they know about their job, it gives them fulfillment, psychological fulfillment, and fulfilling their physical needs. Then job design also helps to change behavior at work, because if the employee has knowledge about the kind of work they're going to do, and how they are going to do it, they will have that, their attitude will change toward, they will have a positive attitude towards their work. So let us look at the methods and approaches of job design. And we have a number of them. So some of them are explained as follows. The first method is what we call the scientific management approach, basically, that was spearheaded by F.W. Taylor, Frederick Winslow Taylor. And according to him, he says that this job should be divided into different tasks. The job should be divided. It should be broken down into different tasks. And of course, these tasks should be explained how they are going to be carried out. And these tasks should also be scheduled when to do these tasks. So, and he said that this brings about specialization. So according to the scientific management approach that was basically spearheaded by Frederick Winslow Taylor, according to the scientific management approach of job design, Frederick Taylor, according to him, he said that the job should be subdivided it should be divided or broken down into different tasks. And these tasks should be explained how they are going to be carried out. And then these tasks should be timetabled, or they should be scheduled on when they are supposed to be done. And this basically will help in bringing about work specialization. So that was about scientific management approach of job design. Then we have Herzberg's motivation hygiene theory. And according to Herzberg, he says that the job design, he categorizes two factors. And he says that people want to work in organizations where there are two factors, and these two factors are the hygiene and the motivator. And then he goes ahead to explain the hygiene factors, and the hygiene factors are the pay, work condition, company policy, and the quality of supervision. Are we together? So according to Hasberg motivation theory, motivation hygiene theory of job design, he talks about, of course, at the end of the day here with the hygiene factors, when we are designing or making a job design, these following should be included. These following should be included in the job design. Or a number of cases we've seen these job designs maybe in the newspapers, and some of these factors are included according to Hasberg. These are the hygiene factors, and the hygiene factors are the pay, working condition, company policy, and quality of supervision. Number of cases you've seen in the job design, they include the pay, how much they're going to pay, they include the working conditions, and then also they include the company policies, and then also they talk about the quality of supervision. Who will you be reporting to? So those are the hygiene factors. And then he also talked about the motivators, and according to Hasberg, the motivator factors of job design are basically a feeling of self-improvement. When workers are feeling, they have a feeling of self-improvement, then recognition, their achievement, what they have achieved at their workplaces, and the desire for acceptance of a greater responsibility. So workers should not only be work in organization because of pay, but they also need to get the motivation factors of having, being recognized. That is motivation. Feeling that they need to do greater responsibility. That is motivation. So that is all about Hasberg. And then we are still under the Hasberg theory, the Hasberg motivation theory of job design. And according to these are the following ways where the factors, the motivator factors can be achieved, right? So in the motivator factors, the job should be designed in the following ways in the motivator factors. Number one is that the employees should be made accountable for their jobs by delegating some authority. So if these employees they feel they have some level of authority over delegating their jobs, of course they have a sense of they have that sense of feeling self-improvement, of having self-improvement, having greater responsibility. That is a motivator. Then the job design should also, in order to make it a motivator, the job design should also be given individuals should be given an opportunity to plan and schedule their own jobs. Yeah. So they are given a level of authority. They are given a level of freedom to be able to schedule their jobs on when to do their own jobs, right? And then also as a motivator, the job design should allow face-to-face communication, at the workplace while these workers are working. And then also as a motivator, the job design should be able to give these workers freedom to do their own things, as in to do their work without being put on pressure. And then also in order to have this job design meet the motivator factor, the reward have to match with the performance, the work performance. And then we are still looking at methods and approaches of job design. So we have seen the first method as scientific management. Then we've seen Hasberg motivation, hygiene theory. And then we are looking at now the third one, which is job rotation. These are methods of job design. These are methods of job design, approaches of job design. And then job rotation. Job rotation. Job rotation here, we mean that the worker can be transferred from one position to another, yeah, to do different tasks, not left in one place to do one specific task, but you keep on changing them to do different tasks, yeah, you rotate around. So this one actually helps them to develop, to have different skills, to be multi-skilled, such that even if one worker is not around, someone can take over. You can take over, right? So that is job rotation. These are approaches of job design. And then job enlargement. Job enlargement. Job enlargement means that, for example, if an employee is doing a particular job, you give them more tasks that are similar to that particular job, right? You widen the scope of that job. For example, if it's a journalist, if it's a video journalist, you give them tasks of, for example, operating the camera, checking sound, preparing the lights, making the report story. So all those are different tasks, but within for the same position of a job of a journalist, isn't it? So that's what we call job enlargement. Remember, we are looking at approaches of job design. Then we have job enrichment. Job enrichment. Job enrichment. So job enrichment basically here, these employees are basically given they are given authority. They are given some level of authority to supervise their subjects, right? They are given some level of authority to supervise their subjects, right? Right? And also to set their own goals. So that is job enrichment. All right. And then also with this job enrichment, it enhances employees' commitment and satisfaction. And the job enrichment has different techniques. It has different techniques. And one of them is that it has what you call specific task, whereby a specific task is assigned to an individual to develop expertise. Yeah. So you give them a particular task, but the essence of giving them that particular task is to develop their expertise, their area or their field, their career, their area of expertise. And then also you can give them a self-set standard, right? Self-set standard is that you allow these employees to set their own standards and targets and be able to meet them. So that is job what? Enrichment. Then minimal control. Minimal control is allow them to work under minimum supervision without being on their case. Yeah, allow them to be independent, do their own tasks, and be able. You know, when you're not under pressure, it is very easy to do something and finish it than when you're under pressure. Actually, some of them, when they are under, some employees, when they're under pressure, they end up messing up, doing mistakes. But if you allow them to do their work with minimal supervision, they will they will control themselves and they'll be able to achieve their tasks. And then feedback. These are techniques under job enrichment, right? Which is under approaches to job design, right? So then feedback, job enrichment also, you can use the feedback. Feedback is to be able to show these employees that after they have performed a task, to give them results on how well they have performed. Yeah. All right. Then another approach to job design is the job characteristics approach. The job characteristic approach. So these jobs have different characteristics. And this approach basically was suggested by Hackman and Oldham, right? And according to this approach, it is assumed that jobs have different characteristics, right? They have different characteristics, and that these characteristics are as follows. So these characteristics basically they help to bring about skill variety, right? So this method says that specific job characteristics will affect job design, right? So these job characteristics, how do they affect the job design? So for example, the skills, the skill and variety, yeah? The skills that you require for that particular job will affect, will determine what you're going to incorporate while preparing while designing that job. So while designing that job, you will have to put specific characteristics, and these characteristics are in terms of the skills that are required for that particular job. And then also another characteristic will be in form of task identity. What are the tasks? What are the tasks that are entailed in that kind of job? So as you're designing that job, you have to include the tasks. Then also you have to include the task significance, right? The task significance. In other words, how will that task what kind of impact, yeah, or influence will that task have on other people, right? What kind of impact will it have on the lives of other people? And then also still when you're making that job design under the job characteristics approach, you have to look at to talk about the autonomy, right? The autonomy means independence or the freedom, right? So you talk about the level of freedom and discretion. You talk about the level of freedom, yeah. So for example, if the worker requires to be to schedule when to do that work, you specify it in that job design. You specify it, so you give the level of autonomy or independency for the individual while preparing that job design. And then also still under that job characteristic approach of job design, you have to include an element of feedback. You have to include an element of feedback whereby with an element of feedback here, you have to show results in terms of performance after the individual or the worker has done his or her task. Then another approach of job design is what we call the open societal technical system approach. The open social technical system approach. So in this approach, basically, to be precise, it involves making sure that the job design is designed in such a way that at the end of the day, it is designed to it aims at bringing about satisfaction for the group employees. The job design is designed in terms of like individuals have in the organization are supposed to do the task as a team, and at the end of the day, it is supposed to develop to lead to the satisfaction of these employees. And what are the major elements of job designing while using this open social technical system? Basically here you will have to include variation in the input and output of department. In terms, like we've seen that with this approach of job design, which is called which is called the open social technical system. We've seen that it involves the preparing a job design that the work is going to be done as a team in the organization. So at the end of the day, you have to show in this job design, you have to show the input and output for each department that are expected for each department. And as you're making this job design also, you have to estimate the relative importance of different variation, yeah? And then also you have to describe the work roles, yeah, status, recruitment and training that are going to be done for these teams, right? For each department. And then also you have to specify the attitude, the analysis of attitude to work, right? And then also you have to specify the remuneration or the wages or the payment. Yeah, you have to put the figures there. How much is going to be paid to each of these teams or to each of these departments, right? And then also, while preparing this job design, you have to analyze the communication network. In other words, you have to show who reports to who, right? And then also you have to also identify the autonomous work group, right? In other words, autonomous work group, you have to identify the self-managed team. Then you also have to, then also let's look at another approach of job design, which is modified work schedule. Modified work schedule. Now, to be precise, with the modified work schedule of job design, under this method, these employees are given chance to be able, they are given a level of independence to be able, for example, to choose to schedule for themselves when they are able to do the work, right? To schedule for themselves when they are able to do the work. You may find some people will tell you, some employees will tell you they want to work maybe on weekends. So that is what we call a modified work schedule, basically allowing, giving these employees chance to choose when to do the work, not setting the schedule for them, but allowing them to, and this can be done in the following ways. You can give them shorter work week, where they can work more hours for few days in a week, right? For example, 10 hours for 4 days in a week. Then also you can give them a flexible time whereby they are able to choose on which days to work. Then also you can help do what we call job sharing, whereby they can, if they are part-time employees, they can share the job between themselves. Then also you can allow them to do the work from home, yeah? For example, people that are working jobs that are typically online, you allow the person to work from home as long as you can monitor them online, what the output that they are doing. They don't have to come physically at the workplace. So that is what we call the modified work schedule. But remember, all these are approaches, all these are approaches to job design. So that was all about job design. Let's look at job analysis. Job analysis. So remember, we have seen that with the job design, it involves the content that is required for a particular job, and then also the tasks, how those tasks will be carried out, right? That is job design. Then job analysis. Now with job analysis, basically it involves specifying the skills and the knowledge. The skills and the knowledge that is required for a particular job and also the personal attributes that are required for that. So basically, we have basically three things for job analysis: the skills, the knowledge required, and the personal attributes required for that job in order to come up with effective performance of the organization. So that is the difference. So that is job analysis. Say the skills, the knowledge, and the personal attributes for that kind of job have to be specified. All right. All right. So while carrying out job analysis, human resource specialists, human resource specialists or practitioners, basically, they collect different types of information in this job analysis, and they collect information basically on work activities, right? Work activities, what is basically done in that kind of job. For example, if it is cleaning, they specify that it is cleaning. If it is teaching, they specify, right? That is what they specify in job analysis. They talk about, they collect information on the work activities, they collect information on human behavior, for example, the communication skills, and then they also collect information about the tools, machines and equipment or work aids used. For example, you may find that in a job analysis, they are talking about that maybe a particular job requires use of computers, right? It requires maybe use of photocopying machines, printers, fax machines. So they collect information on that. They also collect info in job analysis. They also collect information on the performance standards. The performance standards here basically depending on the kind of occupation or the job, right? For example, if it's an accountant, they will require you maybe to have some standard of setting these, of preparing those financial reports. And then also with the job analysis, these human resource practitioners, they also look out for information about the job context. Job context in terms of the work conditions, the working condition, in terms of the work schedule, at what time will you be doing that work, right? So basically, and then also they also collect in job analysis, they also collect information on human requirement. Human requirement basically about the knowledge and skills needed and the personal attributes. Now, let's look at how this information on job analysis is collected. How is this information collected for job analysis? So this information can be collected through observation method. And with observation method here, for example, the human resource specialist or the human resource manager will observe, for example, these workers at the workplace when they are doing their work. The human resource specialist will stand somewhere, look at them and see what they are doing, look at the work conditions they are working in, and he or she will be able to collect the information for the job analysis. Then also this information can be collected using this information can be collected using the interview method. The interview method, whereby this human resource specialist will interview these workers while they are doing their work at their workplace. Interview them, for example, about the work activities, about the scheduling, about the attributes, right? And they interview them on all those. And they will provide this information. And of course, at the end of the day, the human resource practitioner is, as they are interviewing them, they are getting information required for job analysis. Then also they can, these human resource practitioners, they can collect this information by using what we call technical conference method, the technical conference method. And with the technical conference method, basically the human resource practitioner is collecting information from specialists. For example, if you need an accountant, if the organization needs an accountant, the human resource specialist will go to an experienced accountant and they will ask them what is required in the job analysis, and they'll get all this information for the job design. That's what we call the technical conference method. Then also, these human resource practitioners, they can collect information on job design by using what you call a diary method, using a diary. This is a diary method. So basically, what happens here is that what happens here, this is diary, not dairy. You know, if it's dairy, DA, it's for milk. If it's diary, it is recording a diary. So what happens here is that the human resource practitioner will take somewhere, maybe we know a diary, will record, yeah. So they will use these workers, these employees at the workplace, and they will record, they will take information from these employees, and as they are getting this information, they are recording in their diary, right? They are recording in their diary about, for example, we've seen what is required in a job analysis, the skills required, the personal attributes, the knowledge required, the scheduling, right? So all those, what tools or equipment or machines are needed to be used in this particular kind of job. So all that information will be collected by the human resource practitioner, and they'll be writing, the human resource practitioner will be writing in a diary. So that is also another way of collecting information on job design. Then another way of collecting this information on job design will be using structured questionnaire, method. So still here, the human resource specialist will use these employees, this human resource specialist will be using these employees at the workplace, will design questionnaires, and they ask them questions, of course, related to the information he or she requires for the job design. And of course, they will fill in that information. And at the end of the day, they will be able, the human resource practitioner will be able to get the information about the job design required. All right. So I want us to stop here for this session, and we shall begin from there next week. See you.